Hello and welcome to my channel. And for those of you who don't know, I was once an 80s kid. So when I had a chance to get these miniatures from Morgue Miniatures, I took it up. This set comes complete with 8 bases and 8 miniatures, of which we have 4 boys and 4 girls. Each one of them representing a different 80s theme, such as holding a skateboard or ghetto blaster. And you can see all those lovely details in this close-up. The first step is to do a little bit of clean-up. And to be honest, there was very little to clean up on these. So well done to whoever cast these. These tabs are a little bit too big for the bases. At first I tried to file down the tab, but then I realised it's much easier to file down the plastic bases. And I only needed to widen it by about a millimetre or two. In order to hide the holes and to give me some ground texture, I mixed up some milliput. I have probably about an hour working time with this stuff. So using the tool, I push it into all the crevices. And I also give the base some ground texture. I envision these guys playing on grass, so I'll make sure the texture is uneven, as that will represent the mud underneath. And this is how they all look with the completed bases. And once the milliput is set, I can go ahead and spray on some grey primer. I figured this was quicker than brushing it on, since there's so many of them. When it comes to painting miniatures, the first thing I always start with is the flesh tones. I mixed up several different shades for a bit of variety. And to top that off, I used several different colour washes. This combination means that no two figures have the exact same skin tone. Next I move on to the hair and the headwear. And once again I'm trying to add as much variety as possible. So I'm using variations of black, brown, blonde and red. At a later stage I will apply a light dry brush to the hair and help it stand out further. And the items that need painting for the heads include hats, caps, headbands, headphones and bows. And once again these need to contrast against the hair so that they stand out. The 80s were a funny time when it came to colours, as certain items were very bland and boring and yet others were very bright and colourful. So I'm using a colour palette based on my own memories. I always find batch painting a very slow process, so I find it easier doing little pieces at a time. So with that in mind, I work on all the objects that these guys are holding. So that's the books, baseball bats, stereos and so forth. So if I make any colour choices that look a little bit odd, there's a reason for it. Because I'm basing it on something I remember from my own memory. Such as this stereo. I have one just like this and it was also red and black. This kid is wearing glasses, which aren't the easiest thing to paint, and to be honest he's looking a little bit like Harry Potter. And then it's time to concentrate on the clothing. And once again I'm trying to match colours that I've personally seen people wear, whether it be dull or vibrant. And this is the longest and messiest part of the process. All 8 miniatures have very different colour schemes, which means I have pots of paint everywhere, as I need as much colour variation and variety as possible, as this will help each character have its own individuality. And once all that's done, I paint each base brown to represent mud. And I follow that up by painting the rim of the base in black. And before going any further, I spray each of the miniatures with a matte sealer, and this will help to protect the paint. Next I apply some random grass tufts to the bases, and on some of them I even added some flowers. In order to add the shorter grass, I needed to cover the base in PVA glue. And then this is just dipped into the bag of grass. Then I shake off the excess and voila, another one done. And to help ensure that the bits of grass don't keep dropping off, I cover each base in a fixer, which is pretty much just watered down PVA glue, and once this dries it will set hard. So there you have it, my 80s kids are completed. We have a set of 4 boys and 4 girls. Each has its own distinct characteristic to the 80s, whether it be a ghetto blaster, a cassette Walkman, a skateboard or baseball bat, or simply the latest fashion choices. So basically these are fun little quirky nostalgia miniatures. And I also do have another set from this range where the kids are riding bicycles and skateboards, so watch out for that video in the coming future. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, if I can do it, so can you.